We're checking in today with Greg Anderson, driver of the Summit Racing Chevrolet Camaro and NHRA's Mello Yello Drag Racing Series. Greg, how's everyone doing in your neck of the woods?
We're doing pretty good down here. Try to stay positive. It's definitely trying times and challenging for everybody. It's something new for me to be around the house this much. That's for sure. I'm certainly always accused of never being home. So we got the total opposite now. But I'm learning. I'm learning to deal with it and catching up on a lot of stuff that I just never ever had the time to get done before.
So before we all were asked to stay at home, were you guys able to log some good hours in the KB Racing Shop working on the Pro Stock program?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a benefit. If you want to look at the bright side of things, that I think is going to be a benefit for us. I think we've definitely made some gains and worked on a lot of very interesting projects since we've been home. You know, it's almost like a second off season, like a second winter, a second chance to develop. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to develop a lot of new parts and pieces and seeing a lot of positive results so far. So quite honestly, I think we're going to be in better shape when we get back to racing in June. So I'm really looking forward to the restart of the season.
Okay, cool. Well, are there any behind the scenes projects that you guys have been working on that you could talk about, either with the Pro Stock program or the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown or some sportsman things, anything?
You know, we've been doing a lot of everything. It's kind of funny. We basically divided the shop up between the three groups. We do a lot of factory showdown work. We do pro stock work, obviously, and we do some other sportsman type racing too. So we kind of divided a few of the people up to designate different projects they would do on the different things. So been developing a lot of things. I stay with the pro stock stuff. I'm pro stock true to heart, and that's what I love to do every day. And some of our other guys mess with some of the other projects, but been a lot of learning experiences with all three groups, and I think forward progress with all three groups. So I think everybody's done a great job, and we can't wait till we can get back to the shop and re-up and dig in right where we left off, because had a lot of really neat things happening and a little bit of a timeout right now, but that's okay. It's given us all time to catch up with our families and catch up with projects at home. So it's all going to be just fine.
Well, that kind of leads me to this. I mean, we go back to Gainesville June 5th, I think is when we're scheduled to start. But in the meantime, you've got some time at home. What kind of projects are you working on there?
Well, I guess the first thing I did was I tried to get all my home vehicles in good shape, and I certainly get accused of that every day. I guess I'm a mechanic by trade, and that's what I do every day, but I always hear it from my wife. You spend no time on your own cars. You work on other people's cars all the time in your race program, but you spend no time on your own cars. So I took a lot of time to get all of our house vehicles in shape, and thank God for Summit for that. We had the FedEx guy stopping by for at least a week straight every day, dropping off parts and pieces to get our home vehicles in shape. So it's great. You just pick up the phone, 1-800-SUMMIT, the part's there the next day, and you work on your car. And she can no longer say that I don't take care of my home cars. It's been a catch-up period for sure, but it's good. They're shiny, they're clean, they're in tip-top shape, and should be good to go for a while.
Awesome. Okay, well, we have a couple of questions from fans. Going to start with, is there anything in terms of rule changes that you think could have the potential to make the EFI combination for Pro Stock faster?
Well, you know, we don't necessarily have anything on the table as far as what we might be able to do or change. There's certainly wishes I've always had as far as it goes. And you know, when we switched to fuel injection a few years back, we took a step back in performance a little bit. And it's been a tough struggle to get back to where we were before we changed. And I think fuel injection's kind of gotten a bad rap because of it. The performance is still a bit off where we were before we switched, but there were many other changes that we made when we changed to fuel injection. And the main one that has always been kind of a problem as far as performance wise is the way we now take the air in through the engine. We bring it up in through the front grille of the race car, basically at ground level, at racetrack level, where you have a 130, 140 degree asphalt racetrack, black racetrack with all kinds of heat. So you have hotter air than you used to have. And you have a problem where you get where we used to have a hood scoop up top, where that, you know, air could be a little bit cooler, a little bit cleaner coming in the very top of the engine. And it made it a whole lot easier to distribute the air down through the intake manifold into the engine. And that's why the engine made more power. So I've always wished we could go back to a hood scoop. Will it happen? I have no earthly idea. I don't know what the future brings. That's a change I would like to see, and it's one I'm going to keep pushing for. And race cars are race cars. I know we made the change to make them look more like the Detroit contemporary car, but it's a race car, so I don't see the problem with hood scoops. I've never quite seen the problem with that, but it's still all good, and they're good-looking cars the way they are. But I certainly don't see, if we're looking for a little bit of performance, I think that'd be an easy way to get some back. Just throw a hood scoop back on them. But that's neither here nor there. It's not a big problem either way. We've got great competition in pro stock right now. We've got more competitors than we've ever had. So do I have a reason to complain about it? No, I don't. I kind of like the state of pro stock right now.
Okay. Is there, if you could do anything at all in pro stock, and I know you just talked about the hood scoops, but is there anything else that you would do if you could? What would it be?
Well, I'm not going to go through and name all kinds of little changes you could make, but I basically have always been a proponent of the way pro stock used to be 10, 20 years ago. You pretty much had an open sheet of paper. You could do whatever you wanted to do, and you had a couple parameters and basic rules. And other than that, anything you thought up overnight, you could go into your shop and build and put on that race car the next day. And it's just, over time, we've kind of clamped down on the things we've been able to do. And the rules package is a whole lot tighter now, and it kind of restricts the things you can do every day. So I always wished the same way. I wish the rules package were a little bit looser, where you could still do some different things. And I say that, and that's the performer in me. That's the guy that wants to go out and dominate and win races. But to be honest with you, the class, as I said, it's the best competition we've ever had. And quite honestly, do we need to mess with it? Probably not.
Okay. How are the factory stock engines different from pro stock in terms of what it takes when you're building them at the KB Racing Shop?
Well, the biggest difference, and this was something that was completely new to us, was a supercharger on top of the engine. That's something we absolutely knew absolutely not one thing about, could hardly spell the word. So it's been a learning curve for us. It's been very interesting, and it's absolutely why those engines make so doggone much power. They make a whole lot of power, and that supercharger is a beast. That's the main reason why. So you learn a lot, and we've learned a lot as we go. We're still learning, and it all seems to start with that supercharger. If you've got a good one, you make a lot of power. If you don't make a lot of power. So it's a neat class, and it's kind of following on the early steps of pro stock, where there's not, it is stock eliminator, where everything's supposed to be basically stock, but there is not still a lot of rules on it that clamp you down. So it's been fun to work on. It's been, it's one of those deals where if you think something up overnight, you can go build it and try and work on it for your stock eliminator car. Kind of a funny deal, but it's been interesting to us. And yes, it's been a learning curve. It's been challenging, but it's growing. It's a cool class. It reminds me of pro stock back in the early days. So it's been fun to be involved with, and I think the class is great.
Okay. The countdown to the championship format has been thrown out this year, since we're having an upside down year, I guess you'd say. And we're running for the championship like we used to. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think I've said it many times since the change was made to the playoff type system. I still like the old system, where you had to prove all year long at every type of different racetrack, every type of different weather condition, that you could be the best. So, and it was a grand total of all those races. And if you had clunker races along the way, that cost you. So you had to learn how to perform at every type of racetrack, every type of weather condition, whether it be cold, whether it be hot, whether the track be hot and greasy, whether it be cold and sticky and record-setting times. You had to be good at every one of them. And now when we narrow it down, we have the playoff style system where you have 6 races. You don't get that full variety of racetrack conditions and of weather conditions. So it has been a little bit, to me, I haven't been a big proponent of it. It's a cool deal, it's a neat deal, and it certainly is exciting when it comes down to the last race in the final round at Pomona to decide the champion, and that's happened a couple times since we've had the playoffs. So, I guess they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. But the purist in me, I still like it better this way. I think you need to prove, over the season long, that you're the best of the best.
Okay. You've been racing since 1998, 4 championships, 97 national event wins. a heart surgery. I think it was 2014, and then you're off for 5 races. But is this the most challenging season yet?
Yeah, no question, no question about it. It's not just as far as the race season, just as far as life in general. It's crazy times out there right now, and you know, I feel very confident that things are going to return back to normal, and I think it's going to happen sooner than people think and are predicting. And I can't wait for that day. It's I don't know. I can't understand a lot about it. All I know is we're going to get through it. We've adapted, and we know so much more now than we did 14 days ago, 7 days ago. We're learning as we go. That I truly believe that we're not that far away from getting back to normal. We're going to do a few things different, you know, for the first few months when we go through this, because we've learned a lot about what we should be and shouldn't be doing, and that's going to help us in life down the road with any challenge that comes. So I think it's everything happens for a reason, they say, and obviously there's a reason for this. And I can see one thing it's done. It's made us a whole lot smarter about what we need to do in our own personal lives and how we need to behave in public and things like that. So I don't know. It's a lot of negatives to it, but there's going to be a lot of positives come out of it also.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you talking today. And I just want to say I hope everybody stays safe and well, and we'll see you soon.
Well, thank you very much. Everybody, do the right deal. Be safe. And that just means we're going to get back to normalcy sooner than later.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.